Greetings and welcome to another episode of Ball Chat Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Junior. We're still in quarantine. We're still practicing social distancing. So, without any further ado, I will bring on my family. My sister, come on, and my brother, Benton. What's going on?
Good. I'm good.
Doing well, doing well. Heal up, heal up. Why, Junior, look like you need a haircut, Bridget.
Man, I'm dying over here.
So what happened football family when people don't know how to do things for themselves? Come on, Wagwan, how are you doing?
I'm good. Can't complain.
Alright, nice to see you guys face again. Nice to see everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well and come on, how comes in and touch your face?
Come and learn my lesson.
uh, Football lovers, welcome to another episode of Ball Chat Podcast, where we review the week's major news in the world of football, aka soccer. Social distancing episode live on YouTube, Facebook, and we're on Island Sports Network YouTube page, Ball Chat YouTube page, and Ball Chat Facebook page. It's a live interactive show, meaning that we heavily interact with our fans or anyone who want to join in discussion. You know, you're watching us on any platform, sending your comments or questions. We have a bag of news this week. Football family, first and foremost, before we get into the news, we hopefully that everyone is doing safe, is following the guidelines. Junior, and come on, how are you guys doing? You're still following the guidelines. You safe?
Yeah. It's better here. If we go to the store.
There goes the German
There
internet
goes the
again.
German internet
I
again.
know. Sorry. So, we're still practicing social distancing, and it's recommended that we wear a mask. The gloves, not as much, but when we go to the stores, it's not that, as I said before, here is not as crazy as I see in the States. So, it's
Okay.
improving for us over here.
Yeah, and Junior, how are you doing in your neck of the woods, boss? I mean, you don't know. Hopefully, things will start opening up soon. There's been a lot of talk by the people in power saying that they're pushing to try to open things up. I know you're eager to get out in the streets.
Yeah, I mean, uh, yo, all we can do is prepare, and that's what I've been spending my time doing is preparing um for being let out like a wildebeest again. Cause
Junior, speak up a little bit. We can't hear you, Bridget.
hold on, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Good, like the sprint guy. But yeah, so yeah, I'm just preparing, eating a lot of food. So May 1st is coming around, and apparently, according to, I don't want to disrespect him because I don't want to lose my internet, but their president of this country, looking like May 1st. So I'm about to start riding my bike and lose the belly.
Okay. Beer, heal up, Bubba Peace, watching us on Facebook. Pick up yourself, football family. Hopefully, you're safe. We're just checking in with each other before we get into the news. Those of you watching us on Island Sports Network, let's kick it off discussing some news this week in the
But hold
world
on,
of
Benton.
football. Junior.
Benton, you can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I have a question though. Everybody that's odd, but just touch my face. Anyway, everybody that's listening right now on Island Sports or on Facebook or on our YouTube page, tell us what you have been doing over the last, for some is 2 3 months. What have you been doing to pass the time during the pandemic? We're curious, guys. Like me want a haircut. What you guys dealing with? Go on, mention.
Hail up Jason Free, Jason says hail up Ross Jr. Jeremy and Samuels, hail up yourself, football family. Hopefully you're safe. Um, Junior put out a question to you guys at the top of the show. What have you guys been doing to pass the time for the last month or so? I know some of us have taken up projects, trying to turn into, do things that we've ignored for a long time. So let us know what you have been doing. Jeremy said, watch the grass grow. Jeremy, get out there and cut the grass, Bridget. Get out there and cut the grass. All right. So, football family, we're going to talk about football, some of the major news in the world of football this week. Of course, at the top of the show, we always acknowledge each other and pay respect to each other because it stick you out the road. I mean, health and safety of everyone is important. We want to make sure that the family is good and we can ride through this rough period, this pandemic in one piece. So my granny always used to say, dance a yard before you dance abroad, i.e., you take care of things at home before you take care of things, elsewhere. So to that end, we're going to start the show with some news in our backyard. Come on, Trinidad and football, the TNT, Trinidad and Tobago Football Federation, and FIFA has been going back and forth. Fatima Samora, General Secretary of FIFA, wrote a stern letter to the national security and the government of Trinidad this week after Mr. Wallace, the president of the FIFA, well, the pending president of the federation, or president elect of the federation, proclaimed that he's still the man in charge. Come on. Should Mr. Wallace know that he's been removed from his post?
I think he knows. I think he's trying to. I don't know. He probably thinks that FIFA coming in is like a coup, and he's kind of resisting the coup. But FIFA came out and said big and bold that Wallace is not in charge. And you would think that FIFA and their lawyers would know this too. So I am disappointed in Mr. Wallace because I don't think he has any legs to stand on. You know what? I don't see what the fight is. I mean, he wasn't doing a good job. Someone's coming in to take over. What is he holding on to? Why is he fighting? Why is Wallace fighting for basically a defunct football association? Why is he fighting? FIFA says he's not in charge.
And big up Bubba P says he's walked and jogged for 2 hours every morning. Yeah, morning shape.
You lie, Bubba, lie.
Morning shape. But Junior, and come on, one of the big things we're talking about what's going on between the Trinidad and Tobago Federation, Football Federation, and FIFA. Fatima Samora, the General Secretary of FIFA, wrote a stern letter to the government of the Twin Islands Republic and said that, we are the ones who are in charge. Mr. Robert Haddad is the one in charge. Anything, some testing is going to be taking place, coronavirus testing is going to be taking place at a stadium there in Trinidad. And anything that's relating to decision making regarding the facilities need to go to Mr. Haddad. Mr. Wallace is pushing back, saying no, they need to talk to him. Junior, member nations know that once they enter FIFA, they have to abide by the laws. Samora said Article 8, Section 2. Paragraph 2 is the breach, and this is what they're governing on that. The man that read the book, Junior.
No.
It's just a typical Caribbean nation trying to stay afloat, and the typical Europeans are trying to come in and take over the thing. Listen to me, I stand with Trinidad and Tobago. I don't care how irrational, I don't care how nonsensical, I don't care how crazy this brother sound. I stand with you.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because the precedent that's being set, and I have another conspiracy theory coming out in about 30 to 40 minutes when we talk about a topic. And I'm going to prove to you how dangerous FIFA is.
So, but you're going to say you join the People Association, you enter in their group, you sign up and decide to abide by the guidelines of it. That's some sense to Junior now.
Junior is all about fighting the man and fighting the poor. But I don't know if he wants to be called Black Jesus going forward. But what Wallace is doing is just ridiculous. It's not as if we could point to something and say Wallace has done a good job. And you know what, too? I'm going to ask Justin. Justin is from Trinidad, and Justin knows about football. We're going to ask Justin to come on the show next week and talk to us about the state of football in Trinidad. It's not good. So I just don't understand why he thinks that he deserves to stay on while he wasn't doing a good job. And for FIFA to come out and tell you article what, paragraph 2, come on now, it's a wrap.
Yeah, so one of the issues that arose from mismanagement of the association, um, TNT clubs from from Trinidad and Tobago were prevented from joining in the CONCACAF the regional tournament because of issues with management. Brent Sancho, formerly of the national team in Trinidad, was very critical of the way the federation is handling the football in the island. So these are some of the fallout that's happening. They've asked Mr. Wallace and Trinidad and Tobago Football Federation have asked for a single arbiter to oversee the case at CAS. They've identified an arbitrator, Mr. Mark Hovell, and you know, FIFA came out and said no, we want the 3-judge panel to review it. Why Trinidad is hoping that Mr. Hovell will give them a good rap.
What?
Any thoughts?
But the question is the overreaching hand, and I think this is where Trinidad is coming from. Where if they don't take a stand now, what is the limit for FIFA to overreach into your federation? Where is the ending? Where's the cutoff point? Is it just because I don't think you're doing well enough, I'm going to come in and take over? Is that where we're going right now? I know it's in their articles. I understand that, but there are some rules out there. There are some laws out there that is just overreaching and overbearing. And I think that's where Trinidad is coming from. Do I agree with them? I said earlier, I'm going to start with Trinidad because we're from the Caribbean. But in reality, the Federation has not been doing a good job. We all agree with that. But is it on FIFA to come in and fix it, or should it be on Trinidad? That's my question.
But Jonah, but what is Trinidad's end game? Let us look at it. Let us not look at it as FIFA coming in. Okay, say FIFA don't come in and take over and try to steady the ship. Where is Trinidad's Football Association going? Where are they heading? They have no money. They have no structure. Basically, they have no team. They not have no coach. The female program is in shambles. What is the end game for Trinidad? Why are they saying, listen, we don't need FIFA to come in. We got this. What is Trinidad's plan? For me, I don't see them having a plan. I don't see them having any way going forward. So I just don't understand the fight. Yes, you can take a stand, but look at it. If I am not performing my job at the best of my ability, I am looking over my shoulder thinking that my boss is going to get rid of me at any time. I mean, the point is, do your job or you won't have no issue. Wallace was doing a piss poor job.
But then, who is Wallace's boss? Is it FIFA or is it Trinidad? That is where the rubber meets the road here, because who should make that call? Is FIFA? All right, we understand the federation process and we understand what the federation is, but is it that FIFA and these nations have an agreement, or is it that FIFA runs these nations' football? And I think that is where the rub is right now. Who is the boss of FIFA of Trinidad's Football Federation? Who is the boss of that? Who calls the shots? Should it be? And I know Benton did the reference way back that I think it said one time that presidents or prime ministers cannot influence the football or something.
Yeah, you have to separate politics from it. You have to separate government entities from it.
So then, isn't FIFA a government entity within itself?
Yeah, but you decide to join FIFA as a member nation. In its report in its filing to the CAS Court of Appeals, FIFA said, quote, extremely low overall financial management methods combined with a massive debt, facing a very real risk of insolvency and illiquidity, end quote. So as a member nation, what FIFA has done is that we've given you grants, we've given you some financial support over the last few years, to that end, you take that money and you're supposed to abide by the articles of governance as is outlined when you decide to join the members, the association. So, like, come on, say, Mr. Wallace, God go with you and good luck. Because I don't know. I mean, but it's a very complicated thing for me also because I think if we've seen with the Kenyan Football Association where FIFA suspended them for a period, and there were many in Kenya that thought FIFA overreach and so forth. So I don't know where the line is going to be drawn, but you can't have such beer cupboards and expect for continuous business as usual, right? Come on.
Exactly, and we are assuming that FIFA have not talked to them before. We're assuming that FIFA did not give them a warning
Yes.
because because as you said, they have gotten grants from FIFA and they have not done well. And I keep going back to the point where the girls had to do a fish fry or a food drive or whatever at in camp just so they can go represent Trinidad. So for me, Trinidad does not get a pass because the cupboards, as Benton said, are they're bare. And FIFA is stepping in now to help because I think FIFA realized that Trinidad was a powerhouse in the Caribbean and they can be a powerhouse as well. So, why not? Come on, Mr. Wallace, man. Just take a walk.
Jeremy and Samuelson look like me can put in my application. Send on your application to the Trinidad. No, actually, you cannot, Jeremy. And Mr. Robert Haddad is running things. All football related matters go to Mr. Haddad in Trinidad and Tobago, according to FIFA. Stepping away, continue to discuss some major news in our own backyard. Stepping away from Trinidad and Tobago Football Federation. League Mexico, the top two divisions in Mexico, decided this week that they're going to suspend promotion and relegation for the next 5 years. Second division teams have been financially struggling for a while. A few second division managers are quite ticked off about. Is this a good move, Junior? Come on.
Come on, you want to beat them or you want to beat first?
Yeah,
And to be fair, the clubs in the second division clubs will get $845,000 for the next per year for the next 5 years.
It says one in the article. It says 1 million. What is that?
1 million. Okay.
Money?
Yeah.
1 million.
Okay.
For the next 5 years. Listen, it's a mixed bag for me because for any second division team. Juna, did I say you should go first? Sorry.
No, go on. You go. You go.
For any second division team, I think the ultimate prize is to be promoted to the first division.
Right.
So this is a blow for them. For the teams who are always in the bottom half of the table, it's good for them. What they're trying to do is saying that, listen, we're going to give you $1 million every year so you can invest in your club and just sit in the division and play. So with this being said, they're talking about incorporating younger players, moving them up, playing them in the second division, and ultimately having first division teams by them. So they're marketing players. But this goes to show you that maybe Mexico is thinking that MLS is passing them and they have to do something. And I heard a rumor that MLS and Mexico want to merge. So maybe this is just the first step in getting to that place.
All right, Junior, go ahead. Eric, President Enrique Bonilla of Mexican Football Federation announced the change this week after voting.
Well,
go ahead, Junior.
Let me tell you something. Mr. Bonilla, Bonillo, he recently he recently recovered fully from the coronavirus, right? So
yes.
We're happy for that. People, this is my conspiracy theory right now. It is not coincidental that the Mexican Federation, first of all, if you look through their rules for how teams can be funded, they have very strict funding rules for all their teams, right? Where the money that they grow, the money that they earn outside of the league has to come from a reputable source.
Yes.
I.e., no mafia, no drug money, right? Over the last couple of years, if I remember clearly, the Mexican League, the Mexican division, they lost 3 teams or 4 teams out of their top division because they weren't playing by the rules of their financial. They didn't specify, they just said that they did not meet the requirements, the financial requirements, right? So that is why them quote unquote magically come up now and say, you know what, let us vote on this. And let us get rid of the second division and no promotion. So we have more control. If it's 16 teams or 18 teams, we only deal with 16 or 18 teams. We don't have to worry about incorporating other teams and making sure they're meeting our financial standards. My conspiracy theory is right down the road from Mexico, FIFA came into Trinidad because Trinidad Federation isn't going well. And the Mexican Federation are now saying, look, we don't want this. We are the top power in CONCACAF. We don't want no outside interference. Let's clean house. Let's clean up our house. MLS is also doing the same thing now where they are thinking about building a developmental league. This is, to me, this is like, I could be 100% wrong.
You're full of conspiracies, so where is this?
Come on, 1 + 1 always equal 2. It is not coincidental. These federations are now cleaning house and cleaning up their acts. We're hearing rumbles of that happening in Brazil now, finally. So FIFA is setting a precedent, and all, which is probably good. It's good for the league, good for the nations, good for the world of football. But I am not going to sit here and just avoid or omit the elephant in the room. I think this is FIFA coming into CONCACAF, and Mexico, the Mexican Premiership, whatever, are saying, let's get ahead of this wave before it hits us. I think that's what's happening.
Yeah. So you brought up a good point about last year or a couple of years back, the Mexican Football Federation did implement a rule or a policy in place that the funding for each of these clubs has to be certified, has to be cleared, has no ties with nefarious or corrupted entities. And some of the clubs have really been struggling to meet that standard. Leones Negres president Alberto Castellano says, quote, "We asked, what is the rush to remove promotion? What is happening?" He says, quote, "Don't leave everything to speculation. Somebody explain to us why. Despite everything we have done, it is impossible to compete for promotion on the field." And he's really embarking on this idea that I have invested heavily to get my team promoted to the top division in Mexico, and here that has been taken away from us. What about those players? Come on. I mean, the owners got together, voted, made the decision. AMPRO, the players group, seemed to be privy to this. Carlos Vela, Hector Herrera, and Miguel Leon has been coming out and supporting the players. Come on, how can they make that decision without the players?
Because it's Mexico. Because it's Mexico. Go on, go play the people. But you know what? My question is this: just like how MLS don't have a promotion or a relegation, right? Yeah. But they allow teams to buy into the first division. Can't they do that? They only have 18 teams in the top flight. If there are clubs in the second division that want to move up, why not allow them to come up and expand the league?
That's an easy answer.
Give me the answer.
You have to make sure the money is clean.
You have to.
Okay, so now the players should be upset with the owners who can't prove that their money is clean.
Yeah. El Pistolero, bless up yourself, football family. But you brought up a point earlier, and we want to move away from this topic. You brought up a point earlier, come on, that you've heard rumblings that this may be an indication that MLS and the Mexican League may merge at some point down the road. The MLS model is no promotion, no relegation model, and it seems to have surpassed the Mexican model, at least according to Atlas owner, in terms of earnings and global reach. What would that look like, in your opinion, if that does happen?
maybe Mexican League go and be a third division. I don't know. Just
Yeah.
like how you have like the Eastern Conference and you have the Western Conference. Maybe they're gonna have it as the Northern Conference. Maybe you're gonna have three, split it up in a four. I mean, it's all about making money. So I don't know. I don't know how that going look. They're always looking to expand. So maybe they'll have a whole bunch of games, a whole bunch of teams. They'll just create another division.
Um. Yeah, Junior, you were saying.
Uh, Before MLS and Liga Mexico can merge, MLS win some games against Liga Mexico first, please. Don't come around here with this foolish one merging. Half of the teams in Liga MX will kill MLS best side. So there's no need for Mexico to merge your league with MLS. I don't think that is happening. I I would more say Liga MX offer LA Galaxy, LAFC, Houston Dynamo, all those teams on the West Coast. Come over to Liga MX if you want. But I cannot say Liga MX.
It's all about the money. It's not the quality on the pitch. I think it's all about the money.
Well.
Yeah, it's all about the money. Santos Laguna Atlas owner Alejandro Erragorri says that in a statement he seems to be pushing for this sort of. He says a high percentage of Mexican football income comes from the USA. Their league, the MLS, being growing in an order, slow but consistent way in all senses, commercially, infrastructure, financially, diffusion on the field. There's one owner who seems to be supporting the idea of merging the leagues. MLS Commissioner Dan Garber said that it would be a powerful force in North American sport.
Can't beat them, join them.
Can't beat them, join them.
So do you guys see a Republican government signing off on that merger?
If it's money for Mac, yes. If it's money for Mac, yes, definitely. All right, stepping away from the Mexican League, but just talk a little bit about MLS. Come on, MLS and the MLS Players Association, the union representative, apparently in negotiation, potential wage cut coming on the pike. The season was suspended since March 2nd. Rumors or sources of saying that these wage cut could reach as much as 50%. If a player makes below 100,000 a year, he won't be affected. It's all ties to your thoughts on this. Come on, it all ties to the amount of games that does actually play this season, of course.
50% is a huge chop. I mean, even if the player make $101,000, it's a huge chop. They have to talk to the players. You can't just go to the clubs or the board and just talk about it. You have to involve players. I mean, if a player is making 250,000, okay, 100,000 they say you're not going below 100,000.
Yes, you're not going to go below 100,000.
Right, but cutting a player's salary from 100,000 to 50,000. I don't know if you know if it's before taxes or after taxes, because that's ridiculous. That's gonna be hard. But I do see MLS playing because their season runs longer. So maybe they'll have some games, they'll play some games.
Yeah, and this is according to ESPN. Just to cite the source, ESPN said that players making less than 100,000 would not be affected. If this actually works out, the salary, the MLS wage cut could go from 310 million to 150 million in salary this year. They're able to get this through. Junior, will the MLS Union Players Association Union agree to this?
I don't think they have a choice. They're not as strong. And I mean, the great lion himself, Mr. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, is not there to talk for them.
But the MLS is making money with or without Zlatan.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. No, but on a serious note, though, I really don't think the players' union is as strong as in England or in other leagues. So they don't have enough. They don't have enough drawing power. They don't have enough fan support. They wouldn't get enough people to speak for them to strengthen their case. So no, them not a chance. Give me 50% and relax.
but you know how bad it is. You have Wayne Rooney who leave MLS and gone back to England in a
Yes.
cushy yard, still talking about how MLS owners are taking advantage of American players. That's his exact quote. That's what he said. Taking advantage of American players through the US style trade system. Rooney says players are not paid enough money, they're not treated well, so I don't understand. Maybe me, I don't know. Maybe the players will say them have to take it, but we'll see. Earning $50,000 for the entire season is not a lot of money. And if
Yeah.
players have responsibilities, it's harsh. That's harsh.
I agree.
And the MLS Players Association does have potentially two areas of leverage in this negotiation. The current CBA that ended, or the recent CBA that they agreed to had not been ratified. So they could always go back to the table and said, look, we don't agree to that. And CBA is as in the collective bargaining agreement. And B, none of the CBAs has what's called a force majeure, meaning that would allow the leagues to stop paying salaries in the case of a catastrophic event. Because they don't have those clauses in those CBA, the league will still have to pay them in this event of the pandemic because it's a catastrophic event. They still have to honor those payments. So the CBA, the Players Association does have some room to work with, but ultimately we'll see how much they can push the hand of the owners.
Well,
Come on, any final thoughts, Junior?
yeah, Mr. Rooney, as a former Manchester United captain, mine a bigger former Manchester United captain call you and say, relax, because I'm an owner now as well. Be careful. Mr. Beckham.
Oh, David Beckham.
Beckham might call you and say, big man, what are you talking about, blood? Relax, fam. But I think, looking at all of these over here in the Eastern Hemisphere, you have the CBA, collective bargaining agreements that US professional sports have. They have something similar over in Europe. I think ultimately you're going to see a lot of shaving back on salaries, on wages, on transfer fees, just in the event that you will not have a league year to play where we can get revenue. There will be enough money left in the bank to pay players. I have a funny feeling this might be one of the changes that come post pandemic. I really do.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
All right, stepping away from news in our own backyard, let's step to things across the pond. Some of us on this space have often beat Arsenal for poor play on the field or inconsistencies on the field. But surely we have to step forward and celebrate Arsenal players, as in the first group of players that agreed for a salary reduction. Come on, celebrate Arsenal. Come on, they agreed to take the pandemic. It's a reported, 12.5% cut in salary?
Yep.
Yep. I mean, good move, right, Arsenal?
Hey, the person who argued this for Arsenal, I need them as my attorney. So they're getting a 12.5% wage cut, but will be reimbursed if they qualify for next season's Champions League or 2021 to 2022 competition. Which never happen, but so, and they will get £100,000 bonus for reaching next year's Champions League. They will each reportedly earn €500,000 for winning the 2021 Champions League or £100,000 for the Europa League.
Listen,
So,
yeah.
listen. So them take the little teeny pay cut, because 12.5 is small, even though for them money. But them pad it up on the back end. So don't be surprised when you see a man like Lacazette or play a goalie around there sweep a man foot because them need to win champions.
But all right, even with all the bad news that come and get to beat Arsenal, I mean, but Junior, it's the first EPL club that are one of the big boys essentially to step forward as a group of players to accept a cut in their salary, to fight to help to make sure Arsenal survive this crisis and continue to pay non-playing staff.
Yeah, well, Arsenal fans out there, I'm
Because we still haven't heard anything from Manchester United
yeah,
about what's the plan.
I'm
So
I'm going to tell why. Throughout the years,
Oh my God.
Arsenal has not won anything. They have not been first, and nobody has ever remembered seeing Arsenal first on the top of anything other than when the season start, just because their name starts with A. That's the only time Arsenal is number one in anything. So, big up to the Arsenal fans and the Arsenal brass that they start with the
Not
players.
not anymore. AFC Bournemouth beat them. But anyway, go on.
FC Bournemouth is not before Arsenal. Arsenal is still number one. They are always number one on the table or in the top three. And I think they look at the players and say, you guys have an opportunity to be a member of an Arsenal team that is number one in something, which is giving up the first team to give up some of your salary. So big up Arsenal and Arsenal fans. You guys finally have something over us to say.
and so Junior, as you beat Arsenal, I mean, we're still not hearing anything on Manchester United players and their stands on a pay cut. You're the inside source for the Manchester United camp. I mean, what is the holdup? Why is there a delay?
There is no delay because the big side Manchester United are not looking for this little media come up, this media hype to say, oh, we're the first player, we're the players that give up some of our money. No. Players will be giving up their money in secret and giving up to people who they want to give up to. We're not looking for the hype. But on a serious
Not
note,
a
though,
secret. Not a secret because Lingard won't light. But anyway, so also Watford, they're set to become the third Premier League club to agree wage deferrals with their first team squad, even though they're still unhappy about the payment of last season's bonuses. That has not been resolved to the players' satisfaction, but they have agreed to defer some of their wages as well.
And so, bravos, kudos to Watford because Watford can deferred payment their salary, and we're still waiting for the big empire to step forward and do something, i.e., Manchester United. Jason Frame says, "Bad man, come on, love me side. Worry about Chelsea. What what Chelsea are do? As in, yes, come on. What's the status on Chelsea players stepping forward and accepting a wage cut? And how are those negotiations going?"
I have no idea. I mean, ever since Lampard get the job, I've been on the fence. I don't know. I turn off my notifications for Chelsea. I don't know what's going on with Chelsea. Sorry.
And another good news that did occur this week regarding the world of football, Tottenham changed course or reverse course in terms of depending on the taxman to pay non-playing staff. Tottenham decided that they will cover the salary of those non-playing staff for the short term. Your thoughts on that?
Power to the people. It took fans to be upset and angry. Some fans even on social media talking about not attending games, not being season ticket holders. So I think that actually played a part. They told Tottenham that this is not acceptable, and kudos to Tottenham for listening.
There goes the German internet, Junior.
Germany internet. It's
Yeah.
550 non-paying staff. And so they're guaranteed full pay until May at least. So it's a good thing. But it's just power to the people. People have power. So once you are not happy about something, you should speak.
Yeah, I was speaking to a friend in England recently who's been a loyal follower of Arsenal, and he's very angry about the situation with players not stepping forward and doing their part because he says other members of society have been stepping up and doing their part and have to take cuts in their salary or lost jobs. Um, so big up to Watford, and I think AFC Bournemouth also decided to change course and cover the cost salaries of non-playing staff. Is that correct? Come on.
Yeah, and Southampton and West Ham too, they've both agreed deals with their players. I mean, they're not saying what it is, but they're doing it. I'm seeing where they're saying that Chelsea also as is saying to have made good progress. I don't know what that means, but we should also talk about Roma. Roma's players are giving up their wages for the rest of the 2019 to 20 season. And on top of that, too, they're making up the difference for the non-playing staff's wages as well. So
Yeah, led
Roma
by
is stepping up in a
Captain.
big way.
Yeah, led by Captain Edwin Dzeko, who was very, very powerful in the negotiations to get that across the line. So, Junior, again, what's the status on Manchester United doing something to support the people and the community?
Brother, I don't know. I'm more worried about social distancing and that touching my face. So we're good. Big up Jason.
Yeah, but I also saw too. I was reading the article today that says Manchester United, they're not planning to ask star players to take pay cuts during the pandemic. So don't know how true that is. Do know that way. Do some research.
People, read between the lines. Come on, said they're not planning to ask who?
Star players. Alexis Sanchez.
Manchester United have no star player right now. Pogba is no longer a Manchester United player, so we don't have any star players. So you're not asking.
Isn't he under contract?
Is Alexis Sanchez under contract?
Yes.
And he's not there. Pogba isn't there either, so we don't have any star players. But Jason Frame says, Junior, how much FA Cup wanna have? How many invincible seasons wanna have? See, they just need to say they're the first. Jason Frame, long time you know, come on, Wagonist, about you turn off your Chelsea notification. Wagonist, remember you want to know why and when come on start support Chelsea. Bet you never watch Dennis Wise play.
No,
Yeah, but so this is an important thing, right? Football fans, football family. What do you want to see your club do? Jason Frame, Arsenal has done their part. Junior, we're still waiting for Manchester United to step up. Liverpool have not negotiated any sort of percentage reduction with the players yet. Man City also have not stepped forward. What do you expect your team? What would you like to see your team do in this pandemic? Brighton apparently have made their stadium available for drive-through testing, for COVID-19 drive-through testing. As Junior continued to wonder how them little idiots out there is doing so much and my team cannot help.
No, all right, hold on. All right, pump the brakes a little bit.
Yes.
And I'm being 100% serious now. All of this is in good faith, right? Like,
yeah,
it's the humanity, the human side of things. And I would love to see my team do something and prove that we are all humanitarians at Manchester United. But will I hold it against them? No. Will I hold it against a team? No. Will I hold it against a player if they don't want to give us some of them wages? Hell no. I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
If a player plays 12 years, right? Argument's sake, 12 years as a professional, we're making professional money, 12 years. Your career is 12 years and that's it. That you have 12 years to earn money. It is different than Joe Average, who is a CPA for a big firm, and that big firm get affected by the economic downturn and they lay off everybody. Joe Average will be able to get another job as a CPA when the pandemic passes by, right? The thing that we are missing here is that there are some players out there right now who are doing everything in their power to stay physically fit so that when the season starts back, they are seen as an asset and not as a liability. Because if they lose their ability to play, they lose their ability to earn income. So it is hard to look at a player that have such a short lifespan already in terms of playing to even cut into their money now, not knowing what next year holds. What if them come back and say for the next 5 years there's no professional football? That means that every player that is 30 or older, their career is in essence done. So there's an aura of uncertainty out there, and it is easy for us sitting on this side of the fence to say, my team need to do this player need to do. But we have to also look at the other side and think, what if they cannot play football tomorrow? What would that player tell their family when their family say, but hold on, you just give up 20 million pounds and what are you going to do tomorrow? What work are you going to do tomorrow? So I sympathize with the players. It would be nice, but we have to look at it. We have to be objective, in my opinion.
But and that's all well and good. But we're not talking about a player who makes 10,000 pounds a week. We're talking about ridiculous money like 250,000 pounds. Alexis Sanchez may have chat. So, do you think that the accountant at Manchester United would not take into consideration that Mason Greenwood is probably making 80,000 pounds per week versus Alexis Sanchez, and they would adjust accordingly? They'll probably put out there and say, okay, the players agreed to take a 30% pay cut. But them actually talking about the high earners, just like with MLS, say, if you make over a certain amount of money, you 50% and whatever, and you won't get adjusted. So we are saying that, okay, 30% across the board. But I don't think a club is that blinded or harsh to take away 50% of Mason Greenwood little money while taking 50% of Alex. So I think there is some leeway there. For them not to give up anything, that's what everybody is saying. That we think you're not playing football. There are players there are people out there who make 175,000 pounds per week, as based on what I was reading, the non-playing staff. If you're supposed to give up some money, out of the goodness of your heart for your system, then I can see you saying, okay, boss, like just like when somebody at work have a birthday and people are going with a card, and you get the card and you look, your boss is the first person to give you. When you open the card, you see 100 US. You say, my boss, the car head, she make 10 times of me, make her 15 times of me, make me slide a $5 in there. So I think they're working on something, but I don't think Mason Greenwood will give you all of fee money when Sanchez I give 30%. So I just think, they should give something, Junior. Them not play, them they want on social media, not earning, even though the contract's there. So why are you playing all day?
No, but come on. That scenario, your scenario you just put is a perfect scenario. The work scenario and your people passing around the card and your boss putting in more money than you can give. Mm-hmm. In this case, it is the company telling you that we are going to give a card and you have to give X. It's a different conversation, You come to me and say, I have to give money, compared to, hey, we are all thinking about giving money to this person, put what you can in there. It's two different conversations. And
but isn't that why they're negotiating, though? Because we are talking about 30%. Because I am confident that nobody went to Arsenal players and said, give me 12.5%.
True.
Nobody does that. Whoever said, give me 12.5%. So I'm confident that there is room for negotiation at the table where the players are supposed to come together and say, listen, we can't give 30, we can give 10. And just like our Arsenal know that it is impossible to win Champions League, to get them to bring the money there, to squeeze in that to kind of sweeten the pot. But for the clubs just not to do anything to help people who every day help you to be the best you, because if there was no kid person, if there's no the lawn people, whatever, if those are the people that are not there, I mean, like, obviously to make the game day experience what it is. So if you are supposed to, as a person, supposed to help, I see room for negotiation, Junior. Just to say I am not going to do something is just not enough.
I agree.
It's not a good look.
Big up to Dalton Stewart, Yellow Myself family. Dalton said we just reach. We're talking about Arsenal players giving up 12.5% of their salary Arsenal loaded that deal on the back end. It's come on try to make fun of them about winning Champions League. That's part of them recouping some of their money if they actually attain these set goals in that agreement. But to that end is this idea of teams or players joining in this collective effort to try to go through this pandemic and come on the other side safe and at peace. And we're still waiting for Manchester United, Liverpool, Manchester City, and
Chelsea.
player Chelsea and others to
Come on,
step
I'm talking
forward
about
and do
big size.
something. Southampton, Watford, and Roma,
West Ham.
West Ham as deferred salary. A big meeting is coming up this week. UEFA and the governing body is going to have some big sit down meetings and try to hash out a couple of things or try to set a plan in motion for when things start to come back together. And one of the pending discussion is playing games behind closed doors. I'm gonna get your thoughts on it. But one club already, FC Mantland of Danish football, has already jumped the gun on this and having some will say an ingenious idea. They have come up with this concept of drive-in football, whereas they will have big screen on the outside of the stadium. Their fans will drive up like they drive to the movie theater, and they'll watch the game on the big screen while the game is being played indoors, of course, without any fans. Come on, are you ready for drive-in football?
When I saw it, I giggled because everybody was talking about doing everything drive through. It's not only about the fans, right? We have to take into consideration the people who, as I said, play a role in the everyday game day experience. Then now they're going to test the players. How often are you going to test the players? Will the players be quarantined? Will they be away from their family? Will they be in their room where nobody touches them, that they don't interact? Nobody go tackle nobody. No spit not go fly. No sweat not go fly. I mean, it's the logistics just don't add up. You can have the games without any fans, but what about the players? They have to touch each other. They have to connect. I mean, how are you going to stop the virus that way if you allow players to continue mingling? I mean, how are you going to tackle someone 6 feet away from you?
Junior, would you attend a drive-in football game if say for example MLS end up going behind closed doors as what is potential coming down the line, and Atlanta United have a big screen TV, big screen, and we need to drive in and watch the game? Would you do that? Just as what is being proposed by this club, FC Madrid in Danish football. They said they can get 10,000 fans into the parking lot with this platform.
The views you're about to hear are not from Ball Chat, it's from me personally. Even if my cable get cut off, I have a lot of pirate stations I can go out there and download and I can watch a game. Why the hell would I want to drive my car, use gas, go sit around a bag of people in my car and watch on a big screen TV when I have a perfectly good 70-inch TV in a mile? Well, not 70, more like 60 something, but you don't worry about it. But me have a TV in my house. Why would I drive to somewhere and sit amongst people only to hear one person come out and cough and then every car drive at high speed? Man, stay on the
That's why
yard,
your window for wine up.
Dante and Stewart said that's why they have the constant testing. Come on. We don't have constant testing yet, Dalton, because we still have a shortage in tests. And as the EPL, our leaders of the EPL Association said, they wouldn't want to take away from the general public the ability to test the general public.
Yeah, you have to test, what was that, 240 people, give you the game day experience. So
Yeah.
every game you have to test. And if the EPL is talking about using 2 venues, I mean, you have to sterilize the venues for the players to use. The logistics is ridiculous. And back to you, Junior. You never used to go stay the man climb up on the fence and watch the game. At
Again,
the same experience.
that was pre-cable. and that was pre-pirate channels. That But then I had an analog TV, and they had a scramble. I had to track the TV just to get video. I don't have that problem now.
As we head home and wrap up the show, but as more, so some of these restrictions are going to get lifted. We hear more and more governments are talking about restricting or not restricting, relaxing some of those restrictions, but they want to keep social distancing in effect. So these meetings that are coming up in the coming weeks will probably try to plan football returning behind closed doors. So I mean, who knows? I would go to the drive-in and watch my team play.
Benton and Camon and everybody that's listening. I've been given a lot of jokes today. I'm in a joking mood, my neighbor haircut. I'm not right now, I'm 100% serious. All of these reports that we're seeing and teams coming together and talking about a federation stock, they are missing one big key element.
Yeah.
Players. You don't hear no players in this room agreeing to this. So you little rich people that want to sit in your little high box and watch the players down there running around like they are robots or like they are some machines. Good luck when you come up with your great big bright idea. And right now what they're trying to do is trying to get fan support to come behind it. And I want to see Manchester United play, even if it's behind closed doors. Good luck trying to tell the players them that you are going to go play this game. After you are now forcing them to take pay cuts, you're now going to tell them you are going to be separated from your family for the next 2 to 3 months, like they're saying in the NBA. They want to put them in isolated location, no family, no nothing. You just go, sleep, wake up, practice, come back, sleep, wake up, play, come back, sleep, wake up, practice. Good luck telling millionaires. I think we're going to see replacement players finish out this season before you see. I'm being 100% serious. There's no way you're going to get a millionaire to come out and put his life on the line.
Is the replacement player formerly Manchester United highly coveted player Bebe from Portugal?
No, there is a midfielder right now living in Atlanta that needs to lose about 150 pounds, but we'll do it for wear the number 6 jersey.
You know, Dalton Stewart said money talks. As we wrap up the show, football family, Wayne Rooney was in the news a lot this week. He was on a show, Kamara's podcast here in the States, but we want to talk about
it's Quincy Amaraka.
Yeah, Quincy Amaraka. Thank you. We want to talk about Wayne Rooney, and in an interview he recently did, Wayne Rooney said, "I should have scored more goals," and being England's number one, England and Manchester United record goal scorer, said he was not a natural. Overall, quickly, this is just football discussion. We talk about the administrative side. But when I saw the comment, I was like, that's interesting. What do you think about Rooney's career overall? I mean, you saw that he lived up to that potential. Come on.
Rooney is a good footballer. Where did Rooney want to score more? In MLS?
and just to kind of recap his numbers here, he scored 53 goals in 120 appearances for England. And Manchester United scored 253 goals in 559 appearances. And then at the local idiot side, DC United, he scored 23 goals in 49 appearances. I mean, he scored a lot of goals. He said, quote, "I hold the goal records for Manchester United and England, and I'm very proud about that. Yet there have been better number 9 than me," he said. So he was pretty humble in that assessment. How many better number 9s that we've seen recently than Wayne Rooney?
Well, we even talk about Wayne Rooney now also.
All right, Junior.
He must be bored.
Come on.
But he's been a big. He's been very involved in a lot of discussion around salary and players playing their part, and being here in the MLS, he talked heavily about the owners not doing right by the players.
Junior. You know, Rooney. not because he's a Manchester United footballer. Rooney's right, you know, and the correct statement that he made is the position number 9. Now,
Yeah.
Rooney played as a striker. Yes, he has the goal records, right?
Yeah.
But as a striker, when you think about a striker, to me, and people correct me if I'm wrong or whatever, but for me, when I look at Rooney, I see Raul in terms of playing style, in terms of position. He's not an out and out striker. He's not Van Nistelrooy. He's not Ronaldo, real Ronaldo. He's more of a attacking midfielder type. And I think that's where he was going with it, where when you think of great strikers, he's not Gary Lineker. His approach to the game was different. And I think when he said number 9, I think that was a key part of the statement. He could have scored a lot more goals if he was more bullish. If he was more aggressive in certain areas. Within the box, when I think about it, Rooney did take a step back in the box. It sounds crazy because for him to score more goals, then we're asking someone to polish a diamond in terms of their accomplishment. But as a striker, I see where I'm going with it.
He said, quote, the United record might last longer simply because players don't stay at clubs as long as they used to. Mind you, if Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo came to Old Trafford for a swan song, that would probably break it in 3 or 4 years. I mean, those are some really exceptional numbers that he had for Manchester United there.
No, but think about it. All of Rooney's career at Manchester United, he had Van Nistelrooy beside him. Then he had Berbatov beside him, right? He had those little small spells with Saha, with Welbeck, who are more traditional strikers.
Yeah.
I think that's where Rooney, I really think that's where he's going. The scoring more goals is ridiculous. But I don't think Rooney in the long run will be remembered as a great striker. He's going to be remembered as a great player. But not a great striker. Is that subtle difference? That's subtle difference. I understand where he's going.
I mean, come on, you saw him up and close at DC United, in his latter years. I mean, come on. Your honest assessment of him, knowing that, DC United is the idiot side.
He was okay. He was frustrated half of the time, but he was okay. I'm not a Rooney fan.
I can see that.
I'm not going to deny that Rooney, he has had a storied career, but, I don't know why we were talking about Rooney. Can we talk about something else?
Yeah, Rooney also says he's the Derby County player coach. He says he believes Harry Kane will set the new benchmark for the 3 Lions. He says,
it's a matter about Rooney. Step away. Rooney, step away from it.
He says, quote, I don't think it will take long for Harry Kane to claim my England record, and it will be a proud moment for me.
Harry Kane?
It's Junior, you don't agree with that Harry Kane claiming the record as England's #1 goal scorer from Wayne Rooney. According to Rooney, it's only going to be a matter of time.
No.
Jason Prince, really, I Rooney, I got Discovery. I don't want me to go watch.
I know. Anyways, Benton, moving right along.
All right. Yes. So, Julia, you don't have any... Yeah, go ahead, come on.
So, we don't talk about Rooney.
I thought Junior was going to say something about the Harry Kane comment real quickly.
I am not even about that crazy comment, man. You want smoking too much weed, man.
All right, moving away from it. And this is a very, very, very good interview with Wayne Rooney. It's a Quincy Almakara's podcast. Check it out. And he also, Rooney has been making the rounds.
Yeah. Go ahead, come on. He made valid points. Rooney no fool. His clothing choice, like the picture I showed you when he was in DC walking around in Batty Rider. Yes, it's suspect, but he made some valid points. So I want to tell you about Barcelona boss. He says the proposal for the La Liga season is unworkable. Did you see that one? Him said unworkable. He says it cannot happen.
So yeah,
Says it's Barcelona the title and done. Eh?
So Javier Tebas, the La Liga's president, has mentioned that what they want to probably restart sometimes in May, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of May. So why this idiot Barcelona president mean that this is unwork? Are they the one running the league?
Apparently, but listen, I think the players are going to be the ones who make the decision.
Thank
If
you.
Messi and him crew said them now go they go play, I don't see it happening. And they did say that the top four teams would qualify for go through. So Barcelona, Real Madrid, Sevilla, and Real Sociedad are the four teams that will go through to Europe's Premier Club competition if no more action is possible this season.
What a piece of wickedness. After Atletico Madrid kick out Liverpool, you going to tell them, say them can't make it to next year Champions League?
Yes, Simone must use some payment, overpayment, that's what it is, and pay off some people.
That is unfair because, like Juna said, you can't Atletico Madrid in what they've done this year. You can't come tell Atletico Madrid next year they can't play Champions League.
Put an asterisk beside them name and put it down and say you did a good job. Listen, put the asterisk beside it and say them beat Liverpool. That's it. And then now, the Scottish Professional Football League, they've given lower league clubs 1.8 million pounds that was due at the end of the original season. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to have the lower league team survive in the Scottish Premier League.
I'm still taken aback by the La Liga, those top four teams that might make it to the Champions League for next year. I mean, Real Sociedad. Oh, come on. Oh, come on.
So hold a second. So if the league ends tomorrow, what do you suggest? You can't just say Atletico Madrid because you beat Liverpool and you've done well this season. Here, skip over Real Sociedad.
I have the perfect solution. The perfect solution is no Champions League played next year. I don't know why.
Mad? So I cannot make them money.
Who cares
about that? Won't fly, Junior. That will not fly.
You guys are crazy. So you're going to tell me that they need to crunch the rest of this season just to supplement next year? No. Mm-hmm. Get rid of next year Champions League and start it. If you guys want to have a real a supplemental Champions League, fine. The teams them that get awarded the championship as it should be, only play one little round robin for full round robin tournament next year. Heineken will gladly pay for that. For Liverpool versus Bayern versus Barcelona versus PSG, fine. But Champions League format, there should not be any Champions League next year. You start over fresh. You can't put it's the chicken and the egg. Which one should come first? Champions League are qualified teams from a real competition.
I wish for Manchester United in the Premier League. What them position, Jonah?
Does it matter?
No, tell me. What top four? What is it?
They are very close to the top four. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I see what is going on right here.
So, but there's a proposal out there, a pending discussion that the Champions League, they're open to even having that final on the 29th of August. The Champions League final. Junior is disregard that. UEFA's member nation is going to meet this week and they will discuss this possibility. The format would remain two-leg affairs until the final. The quarterfinals would reportedly be August 11 and 12, August 14 and 15, with the semifinals on the 18 and 19, and the final will be on the 29th, and the Europa League final will be 3 days earlier. So Atletico Madrid may have a chance to make it to the next year's final anyway. Junior continues to rub his
Yo, you guys
stop touch your face, Junior.
I'm fine, whatever. I'm not touching my face, but You guys are still omitting the fact that players have not agreed to this foolishness. When will the players have a say in this? They haven't even started negotiating that yet. So yeah, we're going to start the league next week, but we're going to open negotiations with the players tomorrorow.
Players are under contract, Junior. When ball game starting, if you forward are going to the yard.
Or they can fake an injury.
Right, do that at your own risk. All right, football family, that time a Junior is suggesting faking an injury. Yo, come on, you have anything else?
Yes, so we wanted to big up Taxi for giving back to his community. He had his family give some care packages out to the people who need them in the Bull Bay area after the quarantine was lifted. So big up to Taxi. And also for Leon Bailey, he for his Leon Bailey Foundation, they're giving back. Well, he's giving back.
Isn't it Leon Bailey and the Butler Phoenix Academy Foundation?
What is it called? Is it the Leon Bailey Foundation?
Well, I know Butler is in there somewhere.
Of course, and the other entity that Kyle is also a part of. So they gave back to Cassava Peace, Grants Pen, Commons, and the Stony Hill area. They gave them care packages, and I think it's supposed to be ongoing.
Yeah.
So and there are other footballers out there who they're doing things behind the scenes. They're giving money, helping people in their community. So it is commendable. Hats off to our Jamaican footballers for always giving back.
Big up Kamara Lawrence, aka Taxi, and big up Leon Bailey and Craig Butler, providing care packages and groceries also for Cassava Peace and groceries in that area, right?
And yeah, that's what the care packages are.
Okay. Football, it's good news. We needed some good news. And thank you so much for the good news. Come on, and football family, continue to stay safe. Jason's
go ahead.
Frame said Mount Pleasant giving back to. What are they giving back, Jason?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jason, and my apologies, because I had it in my RSPL roundup too. Mount Pleasant, they also gave care packages to the community as well. The owner and his wife and a couple of players. They spent hours putting the care packages together and delivering those stuff. So thank you, Jason, for reminding.
Excellent. Sorry, thanks for the reminder, Jason Frame. You see how some people don't get their work together before the show. What about Malines? Is Malines doing anything? Come on.
Malines need a sponsor.
No, but is Malines doing anything to help the current crisis on the island?
You mean the current crisis in the club?
Football family, Junior, you have anything else? Because we're looking for clubs now more than ever, and players now more than ever stepping up to support the community, because the community ride with the clubs and players when things are great. We buy the jersey, we follow the teams, we go to the games. Now the communities need the players and the clubs to step up. So big up Leon Bailey, Kamara Lawrence. I was about to say Malines. Big up Mount Pleasant. Malines, Wagwan, need some help in the community. Reno, West, need some help in the community also. That's it for me. Lock up the show, Junior.
You don't know, Ball Chat Podcast. Next week, come on, get ready for talk about Chelsea next week and why you love Chelsea. Because you got off the hook this week. So,
no, we can't do come on. No, we don't have come on next week. Remember, I said we have a ball that's supposed to follow next week.
It now takes 5 minutes. It wants to.
People who can follow us and big up to Island Sports Network as well. The FIFA competition is coming up. It's in beta testing right now. So we're going to get that competition going. We have some teams already, so we might not need anybody else, but we'll see. But Ball Chat Podcast, you can follow us on Instagram at Ball Chat Podcast, on Twitter at Ball Chat 1, on Facebook at Ball Chat. And you can also email us, ballchatpodcast@gmail.com. As usual, all the shows are aired live on Island Sports Network, also on our YouTube page, our Ball Chat YouTube page and Facebook page. But if you're bored during the quarantine and you missed some part of the show, you can always listen back the audio version. It's available on iTunes, on Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher. That's what them call it, right, Benton? Stitcher.
Yeah.
And everything else. Anywhere you get your audio, go out there, support it. And I hate that. People.
Ball chat, Jason Frame says 6. I don't know what that means still, if I leak 6 or whatever. And we're talking about quickly about others stepping up. Ball chat, we need enough to get some groceries and care packages to the people. What you doing for the community, Ball chat?
I know. Can I tell you what I'm doing for my community?
The Ball chat, what is not you? What is Ball chat doing for the community?
Me, Ball chat, us, everything. We're all the same. We're all one entity.
Yeah.
I'm staying in my house and practicing social distancing, and that's helping to spread the virus. I will want
Ball chat
everybody
is
to
continue to support the community because we don't know, we cannot depend on Junior to support the community, but Ball chat, come on, supporting the community, and Ball chat continues to support. Junior, next week you need to come with something you're doing for the community.
I'm not coming with anything, boss. Watch your speech then.
Hey, but you know, my main project, my one project before even the pandemic is the Strathmore Children's Home. So we can talk about that next time.
Definitely.
But,
All right, see,
you know, that's
Ball
my
chat
thing.
supporting something. Look more family.
Later.
Bless